vibration cycle was our first week. How y'all doing? And none of y'all bring a towel. Y'all gotta bring yogas, things to a towel or something. I brought an extra one or two. I try to bring at least 2 extras, but we always do a meditation or a yoga or something in class. How about today? Yes, sir. And I knew it was you. I told her what you called it was you. What? I knew it was. All right. So today, what did we do last time? Last time we did 7 laws of Tahuti, and we've actually been talking about, even in week 1, we talked about at least 2 of them. Week 2, we went through most of them. This week, we're going to deal with one of the main ones, polarity. Thank you. Give y'all some books, jumping book concepts too. All right. Y'all notice me by head that from last week. I'm just going to go backtrack one time for the polarity, which was rule 4 of the 7. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Now, what we're dealing with today, polarity, is the duality of everything. And specifically, magnetism. Equal opposites, like attracting like, and opposites attract. How does that both exist in the same thing? How do you have opposites attract and like attract? It is saying pretty much the same thing. When you think about opposites attract, you think about things like or you think about opposites first. Think about opposites. Light and dark, up and down, left and right. They are all relative to whatever it is. Left and right are relative to the direction. Up and down, same thing. Light and dark are relative to how you view, brightness or whatever like that. Hard and soft is all. You really can't tell where hard becomes soft and soft becomes hard, where light becomes dark and dark becomes light. That's all really personal. They're all really the same thing. So they're really 2 sides of the same coin. But then you have something, a real magnet, an actual magnet, has a north and a south pole, correct? When you try to put 2 norths together, they of course repel. You try to put 2 souths together, of course they repel. When you put a north and a south together, it actually works. What you have here is a combination of the same thing. I had like a big thing I could draw. You have north, south pole, right? North pole, south pole. When you connect it, you have another north-south pole. So when they're together, it's N. So it's really one big magnet. And the more you add on to it, it's really one big version of the same thing. So having to keep splitting it. This is also like the Fibonacci type number thing. When you keep breaking it down, it comes down smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's the spiral that we see in like snail shells and things like this. All right, so I broke some stuff in here. I didn't write down the name of the book in here for you. The spiral again? The spiral is, it's called like a Fibonacci number. It's what happens when you break something in half and in half and in half. It's seen in like everywhere in nature.
Yeah, I'm always drawing that.
You always drawing that too? You'll notice it everywhere in nature, and it's used in almost always counterclockwise. It's always just opposite.
I start from like here and then look.
You can find it in sunflowers. You can find it in the human body. You can find it on snail shells like we were talking about. You can find it pretty much in a lot of places, but not in everything in nature, but in a lot of things in nature. In babies, conception, while the baby's in the womb type thing. This is from The Art and Science of Personal Magnetism. Now this book was written in 1913. Y'all notice that all these books I'm bringing to y'all are old. There's nothing new under the sun. This stuff is not some new discovery that people are just now figuring out. It's really just most people, we're not taught this in school, we're not really taught this, so if you're not gonna go out and look for it or something you don't know anybody who knows it, it's hard for you to get in tune with it. I highlighted some spots.
The art and science of what you said?
The Art and Science of Personal Magnetism. I only took a few parts of the chapters out. This is actually, it was longer than I thought it was, and I didn't even realize it when he printed it, that this is 9 pages front and back. So you'll notice front and back on these. I did underline certain things, certain parts that I wanted to be key about. and marked. Okay, we all know, and well, we all may not be aware of it, but we all know about personal magnetism and repelling. We all have, you guys were talking about signs earlier, you guys were talking about astrological signs, Aquarius and Leo. I am a Libra. Now, based off of like just the first sign, the first sun sign, your sun sign, of course you got your moon, and you got your Venus rising and all this, you know, you got all the other extra stuff to break down your chart. But your main sign, we're gonna get more astrological stuff into another class, but as you break it down, you recognize that certain signs don't necessarily mesh together, and some mesh better than others. Now, that's not, I mean, it takes all kinds to make the world go round, so we're gonna need everybody regardless. But if you look at the element of them signs, it kind of makes sense a little bit. In my personal experience, I see that air signs and fire signs kind of are a good mix, and water signs and earth signs are a good mix. Air signs and air signs, of course, and fire signs and fire signs, of course. You're going to vibe with your like sign. I'm an air sign, I'm going to vibe with an Aquarius or a Gemini or something like that. Or my sister's a Leo, I'm going to vibe with a Leo. Or another fire sign, Sagittarius and stuff like that. Water and, but it's not that I'm not going to vibe with Cancer or Capricorn, because I will, but we'll relate on things different way. We'll see, we'll have a different way of you seeing things. Now back to dealing with this on magnetism and of course we need all these things together because this creates the entire everything. There's fire, the earth, the water, the land. These are the elements, the main elements. But we're dealing with strict magnetism right now. So like when you are trying to say, for example, like picking in a relationship, you might not necessarily want somebody who is exactly like you. You're going to want somebody who complements you. But you guys have the same basic vision. You got to have that like thing that you're alike, but then your opposites are going to attract. So that's what I'm saying. They're really all the same thing. Like and opposites attract are basically the same thing, but on different degrees. Because the opposites are the same thing, they're just different degrees. Up and down are the same thing, different degrees. Okay, let me go back to this real quick. Every person generates and throws off a certain degree, varying among different individuals, of personal magnetism, which affects the minds of other persons coming within the field of its influence. Not only does each person emanate and project a certain amount of degree of personal magnetism, additionally, each person is also constantly surrounded by a field of personal magnetic influence, a personal atmosphere, so to speak. This personal atmosphere affects to a greater or less degree other persons coming within its field of influence. So you ever been like hearing a song on the radio in your head and then you turn on the radio and it's on, or if somebody randomly says the same thing that you're saying at the exact same time and y'all weren't necessarily thinking about it, y'all weren't even necessarily thinking about the same subject, but you'd be like drum, and she'll say drum at the same time and I'll say drum, like, okay, bro. Auras, everything, there's another thing I'm gonna put, everything has an energy force that resonates from it. Everything does. This is something that science, now this is, like I said, this book in 1917. They're even talking about that then. Personal atmospheres vary greatly in degrees of strength, extent, and general character. They go on to say that people who have no magnetism or are kind of neutral, can't seem to attract or repel, are weak. At first I was like, but I understood exactly what they were meaning more the more I read. Because, in a sense, if you aren't giving off any kind of energy, if you aren't, how can you magnetize? How can you, if you are just, you know, everything's cool, everything's everything, there's nothing real here. You're not really magnetizing what's really supposed to be magnetizing, or you're not repelling what's really being repelled for you, what you're really supposed to repel. Sometimes we can say, and in this book, and in this, it breaks down mental and physical poles. It breaks down the two sides of personal magnetism, which I thought was a very good concept. Because we know, okay, physical poles, we're dealing with things that you see, your senses, smell, taste, touch. Just because something looks, smells, tastes, touch, feels good, does not make that it's good. Same thing with your mental. Just because you think something is good or think something is bad, does not necessarily make that true either. But these affect your magnetism. If you think a certain way, you attract a certain thing. If you look a certain way, you attract a certain thing. We know that in the real world. We know that even on skin tone level, on dress level, on hair level, on anything. We know that colors have influences in energy. We know things like McDonald's and stuff, they use colors like reds and yellows and oranges to make you hungry to come so that you become hungry and you want to eat there. We understand these types of things like that. Or commercials, they'll come and drill something into your head a certain way or put a rhythm, put a song, because they know that songs stick in your head. The easiest things that stick in your head are images, songs, and words. So seeing it, hearing it with the rhythm, or just hearing it, period, is the easiest way for something to get into your subconscious or your conscious. To allow it into your subconscious, you affect your magnetism. In a way, what does that mean? So if you are constantly eating healthy, you feel good about yourself. You know you're eating healthy. The healthiness is also good for you. It's making you feel healthy. This, in the turn, is magnetizing more healthy things. You're not attracting disease like that. Even if you were, because of how you've been fortifying yourself, you can repel that. You're magnetizing more healthiness. You're magnetizing more of that. You're magnetizing healthy people who are going to put you on to different exercises, different this and different that. You are repelling things that will go against that. Same thing, all right. My bad. You attract and you repel your own thing. Sometimes, it's been one of these busy days. All right, let me tell y'all a quick story. A magnetism story. Because it just recently happened. Now, those who know me know I'm not religious like that. People know me know that I was raised Muslim. But now I dwell in other tips and things like this. I deal more in African spirituality, things of that nature. This, I don't know if you can see, but on my head there's a little piece of coconut.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it.
I saw the flakes.
You saw the little flakes? You thought it was some bad bandits. No.
I was like, did he wash tape, dry tape, towel?
No, it's coconut. All right, this is an African ritual. I'm just gonna tell y'all. This is after I ain't got no shame for it. It's nothing. I feel like. All right, so for this ritual, what you do, the belief and the understanding is that you have a head spirit. You have basically like your sign. So if like you're a Leo, right? So that means, let's say if your sign was your head spirit. To keep your Leo-ness strong, you do this type of ritual where you feed your spirit. For the head spirit, the spirit that's over your head, by literally putting stuff on your head. Now, the ritual doesn't you don't put stuff just on your head, you put it on your shoulder, your elbows, your feet, you don't got no shoes on, your knees, your elbows, coconut stuff, you sit there, you're meditating, you're enjoying it, you're listening to a meditative CD or whatever like that, just vibing, clearing, you're getting prayed over, all of this stuff. After that, your head is wrapped. I had my head wrapped yesterday with a white sheet, and one of the guys. All right, I gotta break this down so it's understood because I don't like people not really understanding this part. But like in African spirituality, the common misbelief is that, and in most indigenous religions, that people worship multiple gods. That's the common misbelief. The fact of the matter is, in all indigenous religions, they all have the same basic belief, and it is that there is one almighty force around all of this. But the thing that they have broken down that we don't necessarily break down in Western society is recognizing God in a way where you name it in everything. It's not that there's a bunch of different gods. It's just that you recognize the tree for being what it is, its purpose, just like you represent the moon. You're not praying to the moon god. You're not praying to the moon. The moon don't, you know what I'm saying? The moon has its influences now. It has cycles, it makes tides, it does all kinds of stuff. It makes emotions. Sun has its influence too, it makes things grow. But of course, it by itself is not the almighty. The sun needs the moon. The water needs the land. All these things are necessary. So you're looking at it and you're respecting all these different forms of God. So that's...
It's really just energy.
It's really just energy.
Okay, so
exactly.
The Godhead in Western religion is God.
Right.
And that is really source energy.
Right.
And source energy is in everything.
Exactly.
It's in the moon, it's in the animals, it's in all things. So they're not worshiping the inanimate object itself, they're worshiping the source energy that lives in it.
Exactly. This is true understanding of the spirit.
The source energy, which is the Godhead.
Right. This
so
is true spirit
understanding.
I agree. But it's from an understanding of things. It's from an understanding of people who look at things as things and don't see what these things are behind. Because a chair is only a chair because we sit in it. You know what I mean? If we gave it another purpose, it'd be something else. If you flipped it over and made it a table, then it's a table. If you know, whatever, you took it apart, you can make it anything you want it to be. Then you don't even have to call it a chair. But it's the spirit behind something that gives it its power. So back to my story. The spirit of that, as a lot of times has been, is called the trickster spirit. A lot of times people will call it, it has been called the devil. But, no. The trickster spirit, aka the spirit that will tell you something that you should know better than, but you listen to it anyway because your ego self is like, oh, well, I'll do it. Like, for example, thinking that you can walk through that wall. Yeah, you can believe that. You can tell yourself, no, I can walk through that wall. Try to walk through the wall. Listen to a voice in here tell you walking through a wall, you're going to walk right into it and bump your head. You'll find out for real. You can't just walk through a wall. That's not how it works. Anyway, this spirit, Alegba is his name. He likes cigars and liquor. Like, they personify all these energies. So, he has certain things that he likes or whatever. Crossroad, when we get the money, I'm going to tell y'all about a ritual I do sometimes for money ritual. But, like, this is, so she praying, the priestess who's doing this, she's praying over, praying to Alegba, whatever, putting this stuff on. So, I'm like, good, I'm clear, my aura's clear. I had this done in about a year. I go down to Delray, I'm like, yo, I gotta go bring these starfruit to these kids. I promised them. I get down there, none of the kids is there. I'm kind of like, all right, I just drove to Delray for nothing. I said, well, I got the starfruit. Man gives me all these seeds. He's like, yo, take all these seeds. I had all these, just bunches of seeds. I'm like, oh, that's cool, blessing. I got something coming down here. Get in the car, trying to start the car don't start. I'm like, what's this about? Trying to start the car. I'm like, dang, now how I go and get cleaned, you know what I mean? Or clean, everything's supposed to be good, and now my car won't start acting. So at first, I'm a little like, come on now, what part of the game is this? But then I had to think, no, I knew my starter was messed up for a while. I knew it was gonna fail. It was eventually gonna fail. I just wish it failed at my house, but whatever. While I'm out there, this is the thing. All Orisha, these energies, all these African gods or whatever, have colors that represent them. They have not just colors, numbers. Everything is like, you can relate this stuff all back to
the archangels, or
similar, very similar. So like, I'm trying to think of Alegba as far as, like if you were to look at something like Santeria, all of those are based off of the saints, like the Roman Catholic, the Catholic saints. That's how they were able to hide African religion. They took
the Yoruba.
Right, exactly. They took it from the Yoruba and put it, I can't remember what the patron saint for Alegba is right now. But anyway, as far as his colors, red and black. So I've, been taught by priestesses and stuff to look for people in certain colors or look for certain things. You see an elder with gray hair, that's Abasi. You show them respect automatically. You see somebody wearing a certain color, and you on a certain level, you can understand what type of energy that is coming to you. So while I'm out there trying to get my car fixed, a little boy walks up. He's got on red and black. I instinctively know this to be Alegba, automatically. And I said, that's what I just got the whole energy clean for. He's like, yo, what happened to your car? I broke down. Oh, my dad's a mechanic. Really? Where you live? Down the street. You want me to call him? Call him. I'm trying to call somebody else. They came in looking, oh man, you have to get this towed, da-da-da-da-da. Call my other homeboy. I'm like, well, you're going to have to use AAA, da-da-da. It's going to be extra this, that. So I'm like, I'm not worried about this today. I call his dad. I was like, look, we can take care of this tomorrow morning. Come there tomorrow morning. It's a dread like me. He's all proud. I got an African name. I was like, yo, as soon as I see you, I knew you the one supposed to fix my car. I know my car going to be working today before I leave here. And I know I'm going to have a story to tell my class because of this. And that's what happened. He was like, yeah, it is your starter. Told me where I could go buy a new starter. Bought the starter. The lady in there was extra nice. She gave me an extra deal on the starter. Then she was like, yeah, we're going to take that. Plus you can, bring the starter in, you take it back, take money out, all kinds of good stuff. So like, got the car running good. I had to take the same priestess who did the reading. I had to take her down to the airport today. So I've been running around all day. I told her the story. She was like, yeah. I was like, she used to this stuff. She's 60 years deep in it. So she's like, well, you saw the red and black, you already knew what time it was. I was like, yeah, okay. She's not excited by these things. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, understand. But like, I realized that like, this was a signal of the devil being a lie. I was like thinking, I was like, how can I magnetize my car breaking down on me right now? I know that my car ain't gonna break down on me. I need this right now. I just got cleaned up. But then I realized if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have got there then. None of this stuff would have happened in the order it wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have seen that kid randomly walking in the street. You know what I mean? None of this would have happened the way it would happen. It happened how it had to happen. My car's taken care of. It was a problem that would have happened anyway. What can can I say? You know, life is what it is. It's all about how you view things, I feel. I could have been mad and then done something out of anger, made a decision out of anger, well, fuck it, I gotta go take it here, I'm gonna do this. Or I, had the wrong person try to fix my car. You know what I mean? Because I don't trust this little boy just walking up on me out of nowhere. I don't know you, what are you talking about? Your daddy can fix cars. I don't know you or your daddy. I know 3 other people I can call right now. But they weren't all the way on beat. But I don't even play with stuff. If you ain't on beat right when it's time for the thing to happen, that's to me the spirit saying go somewhere else. I'm not even gonna waste my time. All right, that was just a story. If I can get back, send it. But a true story nonetheless. So we were talking about magnetism. We're talking about physical and mental magnetism. So it really is about how you think about things. Now, you were talking about, before we came to here, like you can think about things and it doesn't necessarily go with your destiny.
Right.
It's not necessarily.
Go with your destiny. I was talking about my particular situation. I have issues with the house of Saturn in the astrological chart.
Saturn is in retrograde right now too.
And I think I also have issues with I don't know, a couple other planets or whatever, but particularly art, which is kind of really ironic because I'm like an artist.
Right.
And everything that I do is creative. So the fact that I would have issues in the house of art is just like.
Well, everything you do is creative. There must be something.
Yeah, I have to get past this obstacle. I was meant to get past this obstacle.
That's why you're here.
But it's just so difficult.
I mean, you don't want to leave yet, right? No. Shoot. Yeah. If it was that easy, you'd be gone already. You still here, so I mean, it's a task that's gonna take a lifetime to fulfill. So to check out, y'all can read more through this stuff. Like I said, it's a bunch of pages. We did kind of start late. I didn't want to get too far into magnetism, but there was another thing in here I wanted to skip. 5 personal magnetism exercises. Go into the law of attraction, reconcile like attracts like. This is what we were talking about before. Is that the one I wanted to look at? Oh, no, the last one has got like the yin yang symbol on it in the corner. What's that last one? It's right before the map. Oh, we were talking, the reason I have this map on here, you'll notice, I don't know if you guys have ever really looked at a map, a world map. This map here is a more realistic world map. The regular world map has Africa looking very small. It's up here at the top, but I didn't really print it. It's purposely done like that. And actually, the world, Africa, we have certain rivers like the Nile and the Mississippi that flow in reverse, that flow from south to north. And if you study other things like that, that bottom map is the way the world is really supposed to be, north, south, east, west, the other way around. So they kind of flip the world to make Europe at the top, you know what I mean, and they make it look bigger than it's supposed to be. They got Greenland looking here. There's a whole video on it. But anyway, back to the one with the yin yang. Yes. If life attracts like, why do opposites attract? So on to the 3rd paragraph. So if we have a desire, but our dominant belief or thoughts are of lack, then we get lack. So what that means to me is like you can be thinking, like it's easy to just jump in something like this and be like, yeah, think happy, think positive and stuff like that. But if you leave out of here and it's not the truth, it's not how you really feel about life. If you really are truly depressed about life, you're just like, oh, this is ridiculous, I can't, If you are really more or less dwelling on that, and you feel like, well, I'm just going to try to focus on, it has to be like a belief like that. It has to be your dominant belief. Like you believe, like we were saying, like you believe if you walk on this ground is going to hold you, you have to believe in the goodness of the universe like that. You have to believe in your life having a good purpose like that. You can't be thinking about some sort of punishment or some sort of evil trying to come down you and stop you from being your greatest good, because you're here to be your greatest good. Anything else is a lie. Anything else is a trick. Everything else is a lie and a trick. Not even everything else is a lie and trick. It is this solid. It is that good. You got to, and I'm not saying this just to like try to gas nobody up. This is what I had to tell myself. This is eventually what I had to learn how to believe, learn how to think, to get the things I really wanted in my life, to magnetize the things I wanted, to manifest the things I wanted. And I can bear witness to that being true. I can bear witness to the truth of that. That you have to let go of something that Joshua taught me, your son taught me, that I really appreciate was the power of the words when you take out things like a little. He's always going to be like, I'm doing my little thing. Why are you saying your little thing? You're doing your thing. It's not a little thing. You're doing your thing. You're right. I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to do this. You're not trying. You're doing it. Do that. You have to program your mind past doubt, past worry and stuff like that. And then when actual factual worry or something come into your life that could trip you up, understand that nothing is going to get dealt to you that you can't handle. Nothing. That's why I got dealt to you. Because you can handle it. Now, if you start telling yourself, if your ego starts telling you, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because ego isn't always I'm the best. Sometimes ego is weak. Sometimes ego don't think it can't do anything. But you, like we were talking about, we recognize the great source in everything. The source is in you too. So if that great almighty source is in you, then your abilities go beyond your body. Your thoughts go beyond your body. Your everything. It goes beyond this personal shell. People say, I'm just a vessel. No. The vessel will give you that too. You're more than just a vessel. You operate this vessel. You are what make this vessel move. Without you, this vessel would just be a body. Without you, this vessel would just be a body. So you ain't the vessel, so to speak. I mean, you are, but you aren't. You're connected. These are dual nature things. We were talking about the polarity, the dual nature, the body and the spirit. It can't live without the body can't live without the spirit. The spirit can live without the body. Right. But not. Abasi can't necessarily operate. I don't know what I will come after I leave the body. But I'm not going to be me anymore. I'm transformed now. Because everything I know is based off of what I've been in this body. At least Abasi, you know what I'm saying? Whatever I was before and what I'm going to be after, who knows? Because energy don't die. We know this. So, you know what I mean? Who knows what happens after this?
I like to think of our body as being the vehicle or the vessel for our spirit. That we really are our spirit.
Exactly.
The body is like
that, right.
a chariot.
A vessel in that aspect. Yes, a vessel in that aspect. Right. Exactly. Exactly. You're the driver of this. Right. You're the driver of this. It's like your car or whatever. Right. But you are more than the car.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You aren't just the car. The car is great. Now you gotta, everybody, we get a good car. Right. But you gotta take care of your car.
Exactly.
Just like you wouldn't pour sugar into your gas tank. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do that. So why do we feed ourselves stuff that we know, we know it's just gonna mess up the engine. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother class. We're gonna do some healthy food classes too. I wanna bring in some food in here and talk about food cycles. But magnetism is really about your true beliefs. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you feel you're worthy of? Where's your self-confidence at? You know what I mean? How do you take care of yourself? You magnetize by the actions and your true belief in your personality. When the lights is off, you treat everybody with respect and stuff. When nobody's watching, then you're gonna magnetize respect. You're not gonna even magnetize people trying to be like that. When they try you, they're gonna get themselves back in check because it's like, oh wait, what am I doing? That'll repel from you. If you treat it really is that simple. It really is that simple. It's like you be what it is that you want. If you want to get things, you have to give. Be a giver. I learned that from my sister. I was wondering why I ain't never get nothing. I felt like she was getting more than me. But I started paying attention. What does she do that I don't do? She's like the same age as me. I thought, what is she doing I don't do? She is giving. I had to really pay attention to that. She was nicer than me. She would help people out when I wouldn't help them. Why are you helping them? But she seemed to always get a good blessing. Seemed like she will never need because she always gives. I had to take that into myself. I got to be more giving. As soon as I became more giving, I got everything. Man, everything. Anything, whatever. So, magnetism.
But don't you have to give from a place of...
Give from a place... Oh, you can't give from a place of, I'm going to give.
Yeah.
Right. No, I see, yeah. I can't be giving this from you like, yeah, because you're going to give me something later. No. You got to give from a true giving place. That's real giving.
Is it, okay.
Giving without expectations of getting
from
back.
your heart.
Is it still giving with the idea of getting when you give but don't want anything back from them but want something back from the universe? Because you still want something.
You still want
you
something.
Want it from them.
It depends. I feel like there's ways to look at that. I do feel like there's ways to look at that. Because, of course, I'm honestly right. We do want stuff. So we do certain things to try to get certain things.
Yeah.
We work for our money so that we can pay our bills so we can buy stuff for that. We do what we need to do to get what we need to get. But what if you ain't have no job and you still gotta do what you gotta do? You know what I'm saying? You can't, I feel like you can't barter with the universe like that. You can't really barter like that. All you can do is trust.
Yeah. Well, because if you think of it that way, then you're still thinking
From a place of
selfishness.
Of selfishness, yes.
Even though I don't want anything back from you, but I know this is what I'm going. You can't. It's a place of selfishness, so it's not truly given.
In a sense, though, when you are doing it on a consistent basis, there is a consciousness that comes that you know you already taken care of. And this is, it's like the reverse of it. You have to be that way before you start giving. You have to be like, I'm already taken care of. That's why I can give you my last dollar. And then later, you're already taken care of. Somebody give you their last dollar, or you got what you need to take care of. But it has to already be there, because it is already there. Everything is like, okay, like, if I, like for the last dollar example, if I know I'm getting paid next week, right? I know I'm getting paid Friday. And I know I got food at the house I can eat. I don't really necessarily need anything. My gas tank is straight. Lyric come and ask me for $20. I got $25. I'm like, man. Now I could tell her no. I can like, look, I got $25. I really can't, you know. And that's cool. You're supposed to look out for yourself. That's cool too. If she's true and she's operating a certain way, the 20 is gonna come to her regardless if I give it to her.
Basically, if you don't genuinely want to do it,
right.
don't do it.
You should be genuine with yourself, though.
Yeah.
You have to be genuine with yourself, which means, but to defeat the selfish attitude, you have to be a genuine person. Yeah. You have to be, because the universe gives to you all the time. Apple trees and trees grow all the time. When do you ask a tree to pick a fruit from it? You know what I mean? When do you ask a lettuce or anything that you eat? When do you ask an animal that you eat for it to die? Nope, we never do that. We just kill it and we eat it. We just take it because it's there. So we should give because we can, in the same aspect. Just like we can just take, we should just give, in the same aspect. And if you're living like that, then sure, you can just go up to a tree and take. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to get an intestinal. I mean, people get strange stuff, and you be like, hey, why did that happen? I thought it. Hey, man, it's the energy behind it. If your energy is flawed, then what you think you're doing is going to be flawed. You know, it's going to mirror that. If you come in with a selfishness, then yeah. Watch how what you thought you was given from the selfish thing you're going to get, okay, you might get exactly that. And it might not come when you want it. It might come right after you need it. You'd be like, well, I guess I got it, but I needed that yesterday. Now, I need more than that because some extra fees got tapped onto that. But, you know, I mean, I'm going off. But, like, it has to be the genuine place. It has to be the genuine, true, dealing with, and that's why I went over the 7 laws. That's why I went over those 7 things of Tahuti. And, like, there's many more laws like that. There's many more people that have just observed life, got old enough and wrote down something and tried to explain it. I mean, there's enough books to give us advice on how to live. And you can live and learn this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you give what you give to get. You treat people the way you want to be treated. Golden rule type stuff. You know what I mean? We understand this already as we live and we learn. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. The more you operate in a certain level, you eat healthy, you think healthy, you gotta think positive. You know, you gotta consciously do it. Because it's everything around you, subconsciously make you think. You turn the radio, it's make you think a certain way. You turn the TV, it depresses you. I don't even watch TV no more. Because for what? The news? Oh man, it's the most depressing thing. All it does is tell you how messed up the world is. Right. And it just seems hopeless. And what's hopeless gonna do for you? Yeah. If it's hopeless, then you may as well just sit in a corner and do nothing. I mean, to me, it's the same level of thinking that, okay, if God knows everything what you're gonna do before you're gonna do it, don't matter what I do. Yeah. That's a lazy approach. You know what I mean? That's it don't matter what I do. God knew I was gonna do that. You made a decision to do that, you know what I'm saying? Don't put that on something outside of you. You did that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you did that. God in you said, you know what? Or ego in you, whatever you decided to listen to, said, I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna trip this person, or I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna give somebody this person, or I'm gonna look out. Dude helped me with the car, I gave him a $25 tip, just because I knew that brother, he did it right there. Ain't nobody, he did it right there. I don't know this man, I'll fix your car right now. I don't know what he could have been doing in that day. Fix my car. Which one? 75, here's 100. She saved me money. I would have had to tow the car, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give it, The universe looked out for me, I gotta look out for those in the universe around me who help that make that reality true. So, and that's how we gotta operate. That's how we gotta operate. It's the only way. It truly is. You gotta sacrifice, yeah. You gotta cut things. Sometimes you gotta tell your ego no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, we can't do that today. No, we're not eating like that today. No, I'm not watching that today. I'm not going on Facebook today. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You gotta tell your ego no sometimes. You gotta, because anything that is controlling you, it may as well be idolatry. You know what I'm saying? You may as well be worshiping it. If anything else can make you do something against yourself, you know, where you kind of like, inside you don't feel right about it, or you know, like, you feel like you're doing it too much, or I need this, I can't get enough. If you need something, you too involved, you in too deep. You in too deep. You have everything you need. Anything else is extra. You want that. You know what I'm saying? We have everything we need. We can get food, we can get water, we can get shelter. These are the things we need. Everything else is extra. But if you feel like, oh, I need this Gucci, no, you don't. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I need whatever material thing that we feel like we need. It is. Nothing gives us happiness. I was reading in this man's book. Nothing gives us happiness. Happiness doesn't come from anything or anyone. Happiness is something that we control. You can make something that you can say you get happy. Drumming makes me feel good, but I'm happy all the time. Drumming just makes me feel better, really. You know what I'm saying? I'm already happy. Drumming is just like an extra thing. It's a meditative state for me. Or eating certain foods that I like. Yeah, I love that. But you gotta already be good before that. And you gotta tell yourself that, because things are gonna hit you. You be like, oh man. The only thing I always tell myself is always all good. Always all talking. It's always all good. You gotta tell yourself it's always all good. When you look bad, you gotta tell yourself it's always all good. Because when people be saying stuff like God is good all the time, and then something bad happened to them, and then they start blaming the devil, or they start talking about all this bad stuff happening to them, you a lie. Either God is good all the time, or that other shit you're talking about. You know what I mean? If God is good all the time, then that negative thing you happening, it can't be negative. There must be a greater good for this. You have to, even if you don't see it, you can't recognize it for yourself. Understand that it's there. There's a God and a devil and everything. I believe that. I believe you can find a God and a devil and everything. Anyway. We need more time. I should have started earlier. Because the Kemetic Yoga. I'll tell you the difference between Hatha Yoga and Kemetic Yoga real fast. Hatha Yoga is the Indian version, the more recorded version, the most broke down, the most written down. Because in a lot of sense, for those who don't know, India used to be a colony of Ethiopia.
Yeah, they have some like similar traditions.
They have very similar traditions.
Phenotypically.
Yes, they do. They do. And the original racism, as we know it, class system, the caste system, started in India. Dealing with the untouchables, the black.
Oh, did that come from the
Not necessarily.
the British
That came from.
What is it?
I want to say area, but
They're not Aryan.
they're not area. It's
The whatever they're called.
But to an extent, yeah, the British, because what happened to them, the best, the Brahmins or whatever, are light skinned, the most, white looking. So that's how the game works. And so they have their caste systems, and you have your certain jobs. But India has captured so much of African. It probably has the best recorded version of the same types of things that happen in Africa. Kemetic Yoga. These same images are on pyramids that they got the plow on the pyramid, which is a Hatha Yoga. It's all the same stuff. You gotta recognize that in Egypt, everybody in Egypt came from southern Africa, more Ethiopia, Somalia area. They came from that area. If you study any of the major religions, Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, they will all give reference to Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. They all do. They all pay respect, and to the people there. Mm-hmm. The Muslims were calling them the perfect people. Mm-hmm. The Arabs and the Indians were calling them the perfect people, the upright man, they live that God stuff. And if you study the African version of Christianity, Coptic, Gnostic, that type of stuff.
That's funny.
It took me a while to get to there. Because I read a book when it was first talking about the African Christians beating Muslims. And like I told you, I was raised Muslim. I was like, I kind of felt the same. I was like, dang, what Christians is beating Muslims like this in Africa? what Christians in Africa? This is a lie. You know, and I'm being ego. But study, learn, like, oh, I didn't understand. I just didn't understand.
Oh, the Ottomans, that's what they're called.
The Ottoman,
They're
yes.
the ones that started the castle.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Dig. Okay, so I'm gonna face you guys to do this Hatha yoga sun salutation. The Kemetic one is a lot more deliberate and a lot more slow. We're gonna start off standing. And we're gonna start off in mountain pose is what it's called. Your legs are width apart, hip width apart. Your back is straight. Your head is like you're holding, being held up with a string. All right, hands straight. All right. Okay, we're gonna start. We're gonna go to Anjali Mudra, which is mudras are hand symbol seals. So you're gonna go like this, praying hands really. All right. And now the first one, we inhale as we go up, and go back at the same time. And you can, keep the breath, keep breathing. Exhale. All right. And as you breathe, I know it's gonna hurt your back a little bit. Now come forward, and it's like a forward bend, like you're touching your toes. All right. Inhale, right foot out, leg lunge, like a runner's lunge. You can start with either right or left foot because you're gonna end up doing both ways. Okay, so your right lunge, your head is up, stretched out. Okay, now we're gonna go into plank, which is like a push-up standing, push-up up position. From plank, we go to chaturanga. There's two different ways to do chaturanga. You can do it knees to the ground, chest to the ground, like that, or the way I prefer to do it, I actually haven't done it this way in a while, is a push-up where you just kind of hovering over the ground. You're just hovering like that. Now you go from there to cobra. Elbows kind of bent, chest up. And actually, Kemetic yoga is a much further. They push it all the way, but you're supposed to keep your hands bent like this. Then from there, downward dog, where you're trying to have your heels touch the ground, but they're not really going to touch it because it's a good stretch. Kind of like a pyramid. Now we're going to bring the left leg up for the lunge. Just kick it up. Kick it up as far as you can. Get it up to where those hands is at. All right. Good. And then keep breathing, keep breathing. And we bring up the leg. Back to forward bend. Come up slow. Hands all the way up. Stretch back again. Open the chest. And back to praying hands. And that is the complete sun salutation. Next class, I'll make sure I bring out a printout. My mom starts her Wednesday yoga class tomorrow at her house. And I know she's going to have them there. And I'm also going to be juicing for everybody to go to the free juice for y'all to have. I should have brought some flyers. I thought she was coming today. I know she's cooking because it's my little brother's birthday. All right, so we're going to do it